She is universally worshipped as the undisputed Queen of Goth and the terrifying high priestess of post-punk, but Siouxsie Sioux actually launched her legendary music career completely by accident, by jumping on a stage with a band that didn't know how to play their instruments just to brutally mock a festival crowd. During the chaotic 1976 100 Club Punk Festival, a slot opened up on the bill. Siouxsie grabbed future Sex Pistols bassist Sid Vicious, who literally did not know how to play the drums, and a guitarist, and they improvised a deafening 20-minute, ear-bleeding noise rock rendition of The Lord's Prayer. The aggressive, completely unscripted performance was so terrifyingly mesmerizing that it instantly made her an underground legend before she even had a real band. Before her own band took off, Siouxsie was a massive superfan following the Sex Pistols. In December 1976, she was standing behind them during their infamous live television interview with host Bill Grundy, when the drunken host aggressively hit on the teenage Siouxsie on live daytime TV, saying, "We'll meet afterwards, shall we?" It instantly provoked Sex Pistols guitarist Steve Jones to unleash a string of horrific, unprecedented profanities. The explosive confrontation accidentally created the biggest media scandal in British broadcasting history, turning punk rock into a terrifying national threat overnight. Siouxsie completely invented the goth look, the jagged, hieroglyphic eyeliner, the violently teased jet black hair, and the heavy leather bondage gear. However, it wasn't just a theatrical stage gimmick. She aggressively pieced her wardrobe together from London's underground illicit fetish and sex shops for a highly practical reason. She deliberately wanted to look as terrifying, sharp, and physically unapproachable as possible to completely ward off predatory men and assert absolute, untouchable power on the gritty streets of 1970s London. While Robert Smith is a massive Gothic icon himself, during the late 70s and early 80s, he was essentially Siouxsie's terrified, obedient employee. When the Banshees abruptly lost their guitarist mid-tour, she literally drafted Smith into the band. He was so overworked that he had to play 2 full exhausting sets every single night, opening as the frontman for The Cure, then immediately returning to play lead guitar for the Banshees. The grueling experience completely altered Smith's DNA, directly inspiring the dark, atmospheric guitar sound he used to turn The Cure into global superstars. At the absolute peak of the early British punk explosion, highly dangerous, far-right neo-Nazi skinheads would aggressively infiltrate gigs to start violent riots in intimate bands. Siouxsie completely refused to be intimidated or hide behind security. When racist instigators would start fights at Banshees concerts, she would physically dive off the stage into the brutal mosh pits and aggressively punch them in the face with her heavy metal-studded bracelets, fiercely driving them out of her shows by pure physical force.